All right, we got all the kinks worked out, at least we think so. Greensboro Parks and Rec Supervisor Michael Romano is with us answering your questions about pool and lake safety, especially with Greensboro Parks and Recs. All right, first and foremost, let's talk about that whole thing of making sure that you do not swim in a city lake. Now tell us why that is so important.
Well, first off, the city lakes are our drinking water reservoirs, so you don't really want to drink in the same water that you're going to, you don't want to swim in the same water you're going to drink later. Plus, they're man-made lakes. There's lots of debris and stumps and whatnot, so you don't want to bump your head diving off a boat onto a stump. And we don't have lifeguards present, so we have staff there doing patrols to make sure everybody's following the rules, but it's not always safe to be in the water.
All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is life jackets and floats, and we want to put this up so everybody can see it. Tell us what the rules are when it comes to life jackets.
So whenever you're in a city lake, you have to have a life jacket on, whether you're in a kayak or rowboat, anything like that. If you're on the water in some kind of craft, you need to have a life jacket on, properly fitted and buckled. They save lives like you wouldn't believe.
All right, and the other thing is you can bring your own boat, but you can't bring a pool float.
You can't. We see everything. They need to be multi-chambered to be out there if they are an inflatable, but a lot of people bring the giant rubber ducky, the flamingo from Wally World. And we really can't have those on the water. There's so many. I've seen an inflatable lasagna out there once. It was crazy. But you, with all the debris, with the stumps or anything else, you pop it and you're going to sink and you're in the water and you could be a mile down and you're in a bad way. So only the safer, inflatable stuff with multi-chambers will be allowed out.
And when you say inflatable with multi-chambers, you're talking about like a blow-up kayak or a blow-up paddleboard maybe?
Yes, ma'am. Those, yeah, exactly. Like those, as long as it's not like one big single chamber. You have to blow it up from several areas. So if one chamber pops, you still can float and get back to the safe area.
All right, back to the life jackets. Folks were wondering if they bring their own paddleboard, do they still have to wear a life jacket if they're not renting your boat or your equipment?
Yes. Yes. And if they have a life jacket, that's amazing. If they don't, we can provide them with one, but we require, if you're on the sea lakes, that you are wearing a life jacket at all times, just for your safety.
All right, now let's talk about this, city lakes and age limits, because a lot of people want to bring their families out, but they can't have certain kids of certain ages on boats by themselves. So let's go through that. Okay,
so basically, the younger kids, 12 years and down, need to be in a boat with a parent or guardian. We have rowboats we can fit a couple people, tandem kayaks that can fit 2 people, canoes, that kind of stuff. They are in a boat with their adult human that they brought with them. 13, 14, 15-year-olds can be in their own boat as long as there is a parent or guardian accompanying them on a separate boat, like in vicinity. 16 and up, they can be in their own boat unaccompanied. Enjoy your day and have a good time and be safe.
All right, and so for folks who are like, you know what, we can't wait for a family outing and to get out this weekend, what would be something that you wish that they knew?
It's gonna be hot. Feel free to bring me ice cream. I appreciate that. But other than that, a big one is, aside from all the basic rules and regulations, know your limitations, everyone. You get really excited. It's a beautiful day. You come out and you're so full of energy, and you hit the water and boom. You paddle a mile or 2 down and you're excited, but the sun's beating down. Maybe you didn't bring enough water to drink. You remember, you always have to come back from where you get to. So you don't want to tire out and, kind of get stuck somewhere you don't want to be. So always, if you're getting hot, if you're going to be dehydrated, make sure you know to turn around, find some shade, drink some water, that kind of thing. Just, kind of think about you're outside and it's going to be toasty and bright.
All right, so for folks who are going to maybe take a kayak or a canoe out or something like that, you did mention there are no lifeguards there at the city lakes and stuff like that. So if someone gets in trouble, what should they do?
So there's no lifeguards like on the shore for like you would see at a pool watching them swim, but there are lake staff, and everybody's gonna be on deck this weekend. And we'll be doing regular patrols in the rescue boat. We'll be walking around the parking lot, talking to people, making sure everybody's okay. So our staff is there watching to keep everyone safe. We just don't have the designated, since we don't allow swimming, we don't have a lifeguard. But if they do get into trouble and they don't see a staff member close by, they can always call the office. And whenever they check in with, drop a boat in, we make sure they need the number, they have it. They can call the office and we will come out with the rescue boat, take care of them, bring them back, bring them whatever they need, and make sure everybody is safe and having a great time.
I know that a lot of people, when they get on the water, they think to themselves, I want to be quiet, I want to get away from it all. But every time I go to one of your lakes, I always have my cell phone in like a waterproof, thing around my neck, because I think to myself, especially if I'm by myself, that is the only way that I would have to contact you.
Yeah, and those little waterproof cases or dry bags are really inexpensive to buy at the stores. I mean, Ziploc bag works too. It's, so yeah, always bring your, a mode of communication in a safe watertight pouch just in case.
All right, so when folks are on the water, someone is asking, are people required to wear masks on the water?
No, once you're on the water and you can, whatever you feel comfortable with, socially distancing from other boats, that kind of thing, you don't have to wear masks. We do ask that if you're, coming up, and you're around a lot of people, it's not the worst idea, but at this point, it's your prerogative, especially on the water. No, it's really hard. Sun's beating down, you're trying to paddle those boats. Yeah, you're okay. And if you're in a boat with somebody, hopefully it's someone, your family member or your group that you came with, not a random stranger you found.
All right, this person says, are there any lakes in the Greensboro system that allow water skiing?
Not in the Greensboro city parks, unfortunately, no. We don't have any water skiing at our 3 city lakes. Sorry.
No worries. All right, and they're asking now, so what do they need to know about any of like the splash pads or anything like that that's with Greensboro Parks and Recs?
Okay, so the splash pads, those are Keeley Park has one, LeBauer Park has one, and they'll have, basically they'll be kind of running through the weekend most likely, and just they'll probably have possibly a quotient on how many people are allowed in there and at one time, so it's not like jam-packed.
Right, and do kids have to wear...
We want everybody to be safe and whatnot.
Someone was asking, should kids wear shoes in the splash pad, like the little aqua socks?
Yes, I would always do that, no matter what's going on. Shoes, aqua socks, that kind of stuff. Even when you come to the lakes, you're into the canoes, a lot of people want to kick their shoes off and go barefoot, but having those the water shoes, the aqua socks, the chacos, those are always good ideas.
All right, this must be a question with the snake stuff that we've had lately. Are there snakes in Greensboro lakes?
Yes, I love them. They're awesome.
I don't want to come into contact with one.
Hey, if you leave them alone, they leave you alone. So you got to remember, the Greensboro City Lakes are wild areas. There's buffer zones around them because we try to keep it as clean as possible for your drinking water. So there is wildlife. You'll see great blue herons. You'll see all kinds of fish, other birds, and usually around the shoreline, you might see a water snake or two. When there's a lot of people, most likely you won't, because no offense, we're big giant, Godzillas to them. They want to stay out of our way. There aren't any cottonmouths or anything, in the lakes. But basically, as long as you're doing your thing and making a little bit of noise and going, you might see some stuff on the shore, but nothing's going to be in the lake waiting to visit you.
Okay.
Even when you get close, all the turtles are going to jump in the water, so you'll be okay.
Yeah. This person is asking, can we use windsurfers on city lakes?
We use what?
Windsurfers? I'm guessing it's kind of like the paddleboard thing, and it's got like the kite thing and whatever else. I always see it on the ocean. I don't know that you could actually get it going on the lake, but maybe you can.
I'm going to go with probably not, because if I'm thinking of what you're thinking of, they get going pretty fast.
Yes,
and
they do.
You got to remember, there's lots of people who are just parked fishing. There's lots of slower moving paddleboards and people on the water just taking it easy. The city lakes are not really a big zoomy area, as it were, with some of the heavier stuff, and it might be a safety issue. So I'd probably say very cool idea, but no, I'm sorry.
Okay, and then the last question is there someone there to teach me how to paddleboard?
Okay, so we can give you some very basic instruction. Especially we had a lot of new people come out, and me and all the staff there are amazing. They've been here for a while. They're really good, and they give you a very basic intro course. We're not going to have time to do it in like an hour long, how to flip yourself or anything kind of fun stuff. But yes, we'll show you how to basic paddle, and you can go out and run amok and try and get your feet wet, but that's a terrible pun for this interview.
It is a terrible. You're right.
We'll make sure you have the basic instruction and help you out as much as we can, so you have an enjoyable, safe time.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you, Michael Romano. We appreciate that. We want everyone to be safe. We're going to be posting all of these segments in the 2 Wants to Know section.